Hi, welcome to Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood, the podcast for women over 45. My name's Karen O'Connor. I'm a blogger, author, entrepreneur, property developer, mother of 4, and I've been married for 30 years. I love health and fitness and anything creative, and I'm absolutely fascinated with personal development and psychology. Join me each week for conversations about life beyond 45. I'll have inspiring stories, lots of guest interviews, and tips and tricks to hack our brains so we can intentionally and deliberately create an amazing future for ourselves. If it's your first time here, hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'd love it if you share this episode with your friends on social media and let me know your key takeaways because I'd love to hear them. Enjoy and welcome to this episode of the Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here today with MarieAnne LeCoeur, a French chic expert who has her own YouTube channel and is a best-selling author. So I invited her on today to tell us a little bit about herself and to talk about what she does. Now, you did something really interesting, MarieAnne, because you hit middle age and you decided to change your life completely, yeah?
Yes. Hello, Karen, and thank you very much for having me on your podcast today.
You're very welcome.
So, yes. I was about 50 when I decided to leave my job in the corporate world. I was working in trademarks, and I wrote a book in 2011. My first ever book, which was How to be Chic and Elegant. And a few months later, in beginning of 2012, it became a bestseller in its 3 categories on Amazon.
Wow.
So yeah, it was really unexpected. And I decided to leave my job in May 2012. So I was just before I reached 50 to continue writing.
So did you write that book while you were still at work? You were still in full-time employment and you wrote the book?
Yes.
So what
That's
made
right.
you want to, because that, it's got to take up a lot of time. What made you want to write the book?
Well, I had wanted to write a book for years and years. And I think, so many people want to write a book. I think, I heard some people say we all have a book in us. And there was, a book needed to come out, so to speak. And one afternoon, I sat down on my coffee table in the garden for 2.5 hours, and I just wrote and wrote for 2.5 hours solid.
Wow.
And that book was born like this, because I was thinking, of course, it was like a light bulb over my head, and that just guided me to write a book on style and tips on style.
And why that particular book? Why tips on style? I mean, did you look around everybody at work and go, mate, you really need some help with this? What was the trigger for it?
It was, for years at work, I had been told I dressed well, and I'd been asked for advice, and, things that I find very easy to do. Many women didn't know how to do, so I gave my advice, if it was needed. And I thought, well, it must be needed. So I started writing the tips.
How did the book get to become an Amazon bestseller? What happened there? What did you do? Did you just put it up and leave it? Did you promote it? What happened?
I was a completely unknown anywhere. I just created a YouTube channel at the same time as my book went published. I created my blog at the same time as the book was published. I did not have any marketing or I was a complete unknown. So that book must have been well received on Amazon. Obviously it was, because it became a bestseller in these categories a few months later. But that's without any push or PR marketing of any sort. And social media at that time was not, in 2012, was not what social media is now. So I was really an unknown, and it just was picked up by readers who liked it, obviously.
And with regards to the website, did you know anything about an online business at the time?
Simple answer, no. So, I created my website. It was not, it was a very simple website. As always, follow my style tips anyway. Keep it simple. And so it was basically just a blog, and there was a few pages, a little bit of a about page, the blog mainly, and I didn't have much else. So I wrote a blog post, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a week, maybe something like this. That was about it.
And that was on Style?
Yes, it was on Style.
And then you gave up your job at 50. That was really brave.
Well, technically I was still 49. 49 years young.
Sorry, 49. You gave up your job at 49. So this, like, you've got a regular income and everything, and you just suddenly go, yeah, no, you know what? I don't want to do that. You wanted to work full time on your business, on the online stuff?
Well, I didn't think of it as a business. I was thinking of it as being an author in those days, because that's all I was doing. And at the time, I was no longer that happy at work anyway. If I was still happy at work, that would have been maybe a different thing. I was no longer happy at that time at work. And that corresponded at the same time as earning a good income via Amazon with the sale of my book. So I thought, yes, a good decision, and can write the books.
Bring us up to date briefly with what's happened since then.
I wrote 4 of the books. I wrote How to Be Chic and Elegant for plus size women. I wrote How to Be Chic and Elegant for pay shape. And then the Tidy Closet, which again, the Tidy Closet the success was incredible. Again, it went to number 1 in 3 categories, and I had for a few months I had the How to Be Chic and Elegant and the Tidy Closet number 1, number 2.
Wow.
The other one was number 2 and number 1 for months. So it did really well as well. And then I did the Tidy Kitchen. I wrote the Tidy Kitchen when I was in Mexico, because we moved to Mexico as well at the time.
So you didn't just quit your job. You quit your job and then you decided to move countries you were actually in Jersey, weren't you?
That's right.
In the Channel Islands.
That's right, the island of Jersey. It's situated close to Normandy, where I live now. So I lived in Jersey for 30 years. This is why I'm bilingual. I had wanted to move out of Jersey and kind of live an expat life since 2005. So it was not an overnight decision. The hardest thing was to convince my husband to move away to the tropics.
He likes the cooler climes, doesn't he?
He does. He enjoys the Normandy climate. So we stayed in Mexico and lived the really lovely expat life in the tropics, living the laptop lifestyle for 2.5 years, and decided to come back. And we're in France now, because to be close to the family and our parents who are aging and their health is not the best. So yeah, we decided to come back for that reason.
So now you don't really blog much anymore, do you? You've kind of moved on from the whole writing thing.
Yes, that's right. So I have written 5 books, and now what I'm doing mainly is the videos. I do videos on my YouTube channel, as well as courses. I've created, I don't know, 25, 26 courses and a French Chic Academy.
One or two then. You got 1 or 2 things going on. And these are all courses about style?
All about style, except for one which is about eating like a French woman. This one is my most popular course. It teaches people about to change attitude about food, about the way to eat. It is not a diet. I call it a no diet diet, but it is the losing weight. The weight loss has been a side effect of eating like a French woman, because in France, the obesity rate is about half the rate as in the US. So we eat differently. So I explain all that in my course, and people absolutely love this course because they're having such amazing results. They're suddenly happy, with a lot of stress and a lot of guilt around food and eating has been removed, and they are, it has changed their lifestyle as well, because suddenly they are eating the family, because eating the family in France is very important. So they're gathering their family, they relax, they're enjoying each other's company. So it's really a new way to eat, and also a new way to live. So it's really, really popular program. I love that one.
It's not like a recipe, follow this weight loss thing. It's more about the psychology of eating, is it? And what is it?
It's not, I don't give recipes, because this is a way to eat that you can apply to your own life. So no matter where you live, no matter what your diet is, and I'm not talking about, if you have special dietary requirements that you have to adhere to.
Yeah.
But you may be used to eating a certain type of food, and you can apply the French way to eat in that way. You don't have to live in France or be using French food, a French recipe to apply it, which is a good thing.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I really like that idea. And you've had massive success with that, haven't you? In terms of the results that people have got.
Really, really. And they love these things that the surprise, I think, something I didn't really expect is that women suddenly became happier by eating like this. It has changed their life at an important level, a day-to-day life, not only what they ate, because I always keep telling them it's not so much what you eat, but how you eat. And as you said before, it's about the mindset, the attitude to food, the attitude to eating and cooking and shopping, the mindfulness, being mindful of how you eat. And of course, mindfulness of how you eat is going to affect what you eat as well. So, instead of eating without realizing, when you're walking around or watching television, suddenly you sit down at a table, you lay the table nicely, you actually eating good quality food, you take your time, you enjoy the conversation, and it's just a different way to live.
The other thing that you did was about, is it 18 months ago? You kind of moved from writing to YouTube.
That's right. I started my YouTube channel back in 2011, the same time as my first book. But I only did a video here, a video there. It was not really, I didn't have that many videos. But 18 months ago, 2 years ago, something like that. Well, it started by the time when I was in my last year in Mexico. I started giving more live streams and videos, my YouTube channel. And suddenly about, 18 months, 2 years later, it started to really pick up. And now I'm doing 3 videos a week, and I give all sorts of tips about style, about body shapes, about outfits, about shopping, colors and prints. And it really has taken off. Taken off. Sorry, it's my French.
Oh, that's so funny. There is a massive difference in what you do. And one of the things you're really keen to point out is that there is a big difference between fashion and style.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I know one of your most successful videos was titled French Women Don't Wear Chanel. So tell me what that was about. Or share with us all. What was that about?
Sure. Well, I think, and many people think that Paris being the center for style and fashion, that French women are wearing only designer clothes. But of course we aren't. And I explained this in my video. It's because we prefer style, we prefer classic style, classic and timeless style that lasts for years. So we're not so much into trends, because many trends are not going to last. And because the budget of French people is not very large. We're not earning large salary compared to other Western countries. And this affects, of course, what we're going to add in our wardrobe, our purchasing power. So, even though, of course, we like the designers and Chanel, doesn't mean we don't like them at all. But it's just like, if we're going to, on a daily basis, we're not going to buy just Chanel and Christian Dior. And so this is what I was explaining in that video. But yes, it's been a really successful video.
It's really fascinating, isn't it? Because what I've gleaned from our conversations over the years is that all of this season's trends, this season's outfit, this season's shoes, you just don't go for any of that, do you? It's not like you buy the new stuff that comes out every season that they put out. That's not how it goes, is it?
No, because our wardrobe is essentially classic wardrobe. So let's say I like to use the 80-20. So we have, for instance, probably a good 80% of our wardrobe that is classic and timeless. So with neutral colors, neutral shape, neutral style, and maybe 20% or even less of something that is more trendy or outside this 80%. So of course, every year we may buy items that are trendy, because if they're new in the shops, of course, they are going to be that trend of that year, but that will still be most of the time still in a kind of classic style with maybe a trendy little detailing, but something that will not age as quickly.
Right. So can I ask you, just to be really specific, how often do you buy clothes? If you were to go out and buy a t-shirt, or no, you don't buy t-shirts, I'll take that back. If you were to go out and buy a top or a pair of trousers or a pair of shoes, how often would you do that?
Yes, I do wear t-shirts. Of course I do wear t-shirts. But it's the type of t-shirts I wear. I don't buy I always call them the Disney t-shirt, the high neckline and they cut wide and shapeless. I don't wear those, but they're going to be like the t-shirt you're wearing right now, a nice neckline and taper to the body. So they have a shape and they show off your silhouette very nicely. So this is a difference. But a few times a year, I buy one item here, a couple of items there. But they are very much selected. I don't just go shop and think, okay, I'm going to buy stuff today. I already know what needs to be added to my wardrobe and they're on the list. And when I see them and they are what I want to get, I will get them.
And how do you keep on top of that? Because I know I go shopping and the one thing I'm really, really bad at getting is tops. Heaps of skirts, shorts, trousers, whatever. Do you think I can find a top? Not a hope. And so when I do find a top that looks nice and that I think is going to look okay on me, there is no way I'm relating that back to whatever bottoms I've got in my wardrobe. I'm just going to go out and buy a new pair that goes with it. How do you keep on top of what you've got in your wardrobe? Is it just because it's not constantly changing?
Well, yes, that's one thing, because it's a classic wardrobe. And I show that in various videos. I have shown my wardrobe.
Can I just say as well, I love your wardrobe it's so organized and it's so visually inviting. I just want to come over to your wardrobe and give it a big hug. And I've got to say, it's on the back of MarieAnne when she does her videos. You can see her wardrobe. It's yeah, I do. I just want to come and give it a big hug. Like, I want my wardrobe to look like that.
Oh, thank you very much. Maybe one day I'll come and visit you and sort your wardrobe out.
Yes, please.
Well, this is one technique that I mentioned in the Tidy Closet book, is that, if you categorize what you wear by color, is one of the things that I find is visually, you can see visually very well appealing by color. So it makes more sense. So for me, it has always been in my mind, okay, I've got to go from light to dark. So my item, especially in this wardrobe now, so I have an area for white and off-white and nude colors, and I've got another area for darker ones, darker neutral. Then I've got an area for the blues, and another area for grays and blacks, and then I've got another area for greens and the red and pinks.
Wow!
Because these are the main colors that French women wear.
And also, you got to be aware of what suits you. You got no point in buying a red wardrobe if red just makes you look like you're about to drop dead.
Well, of course, this is a big thing, the colors. And of course, I've got a course for that as well, because I've got courses for almost everything. But colors is so important in a wardrobe, and you need to know what suits you. And to me, all the techniques and the advice that I give, it's always simple. Simple is best. So keep it simple. And the most simple advice I can give women who are not sure which colors suit them is not to think about complicated advice, but to bring the item of a color to your face, in front of a mirror, and if possible, close to the natural light, and see the effect on your skin.
Right.
So how do you look with that color close to your face? Does it make you look tired? Do you have suddenly bags under your eyes, or do you look really fresh as if you come back from a holiday? So, this is the difference between, if you look like you've just come back from a holiday, yes, this is a color that you can wear and the item you can wear. But if you look like you need a holiday, then it is not the color of the item for you. But of course, not just the color, but you can think, okay, but the kind of color tone, fine for me, usually suits me. But you have to be aware that in different fabrics, that color effect will change. Will be different for you.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've got some matte fabrics, or you have some shiny fabrics, even in the same tone that may suit you, may not suit you.
Does like when you come back off holiday, talking about holiday, if the color makes you look like you've just come back off holiday, when you do get a tan, when you come back off holiday, different colors suit you than when you've not got a tan. Is that right?
Yes, it changes because, if you have a tan, is going to affect, of course, if you, let's say you spend a long winter, like let's say you're in Canada and you spend a long winter indoors, you're going to be really pale. So some colors that may seem harsh, for instance, some reds or some whites may not suit you. But when you come back from a holiday, if you get a tan, then, these colors may suit you. So I think it is not helpful, I think, to think that, okay, these are my colors. I had my colors done and I'm autumn/winter in the wind or on a June evening. So I can wear only these colors, because that puts you in a box. That may not always be right, because if you come back from a holiday, some color tones are not going to suit you, or they're going to suit you better than other times. Or you may think, oh, I can't wear that color apparently, but really it may suit you in that type of fabric. Or now that you are gray, if you no longer dye your hair, that may suit you or may not suit you. There's so many ways that things change. You always have to look at the color. Okay, does that suit me right now?
And then, it might suit you right now, and then you've got to put it in your wardrobe for 6 months until your next holiday and you've got a tan, or no, it's the middle of winter or whatever, right?
Well, yes.
Because I know middle of winter for me, or at the end of winter for me, I'm really quite pale with really rosy cheeks. So red just makes me look awful. But if I've got even the slightest tan, red's a good color on me.
And also in the reds, you have the orange red or the blue red. There's always, a type of red that may suit you. You have to pick the right.
Interesting. The other thing that I really wanted to talk about today was one of the things that I think as older women, we find it really difficult is to get nice clothes that aren't old lady clothes or teenager clothes. Like over here in Australia, that's the problem I find. They're either baggy and shapeless, quite often multi-hued, got lots and lots of different colors, or else they're short, tight mini dresses or mini skirts. How do you overcome that?
Well, it is difficult, and I hear many comments, especially on my YouTube channel, about that. Women are saying that they live in an area where it's, for instance, very casual, and it's difficult for them to find smart, stylish clothes. Or, as you said, they live in an area where there's not much choice in clothes in the shop, because either caters for teenagers or older ladies, or something is not really flattering for them. So it is very difficult like that if you live in places like that. And now we can shop online.
Right.
So this is a way to find the clothes that you want, because I am the same as you. I live in the countryside here. And the shops here restricted, there's not that much choice here, even in the main town, 20 minutes away. So I shop a lot online. And this is a way to do it. For instance, you don't quite know what to, if that suits you, order a couple of sizes. So it needs to suit you and to fit you perfectly. And colors is the same. You may not know, online if a color is going to suit you, but if you order it, have a good look again, if it suits you in the mirror, so that you make the right choice.
Yeah. Your body shape changes as you get older. Like even if we are as slim as we used to be, we might be the same size, but we're going to be a different shape. You talk about all that kind of stuff, don't you? You talk about both the changing shapes and the different shapes of bodies that we have, because it's not just like straight up and down, round or square. There's lots of different types, aren't there?
Well, there's lots of different types. Actually, you could even say there are as many body shapes as there are people, because we are all so different from each other, whether in size, in height, in shape of shoulders, or the waist and everything. But I like to keep things simple. And I think just keeping to 5 body shapes, I think it's the simplest way to do. Never complicate things by sticking to 25 body shapes or how many. It's just too difficult for you to, okay, which one am I in? So the easiest, I think, is to think about 5 body shapes: apple, rectangle, inverted triangle, pear, and rectangle. I think I said them, the 5. And you have those various shapes in your mind. And you look in the mirror and you see, okay, do I see a rectangle? Or do I see a triangle? Do I see an inverted triangle? Do I see an eyeglass? Because these are mainly, you're going to fall, most women are going to fall in one of these categories. And of course, you may be an in-between, or you may be a little slightly more of an eyeglass, but not quite, because you haven't got the curves. So always go with the one you are the closest shape to. And for those who don't know what the body shape is, I offer free e-course on exactly that, how you can determine your body shape, and it's called Shape Up. So
you can go onto your website and get that. Yeah,
that's right, on howtobechicandElegant.com/e-courses, and you will see that e-course called Shape Up.
Cool.
And they can enroll for free.
What I'll do is put a link up in the notes on the podcast so that you can just click on the link and go to those e-courses. The other thing you do, which I just find amazing, is you do a daily French chic tips, don't you?
Oh, yes, the French Chic Daily. Yes, I've forgotten about that one. It's a subscription. It's a 12-month subscription for only $7 a month. And for that, you receive 7 emails per week. So if you subscribe for a year, you receive 365 emails per year. And in each email, you have a technique, you have a tip, or you have an outfit board, you have lots of exercises and tips and techniques for body shapes. And this is very popular as well.
Wow.
But of course, people can unsubscribe at any time. They don't have to subscribe for 12 months. They subscribe per month.
Yep.
So it's just been very popular as well.
How many courses do you offer a year? How do the courses work?
Well, I have created, I think, probably 26, 27 courses altogether. I've lost count. And I have a few more that will come out this year, such as how to minimize your bust, how to elongate your legs, and a few more which I can't think of right now. But it's in the pipeline. They've already created. I just have to format them into standalone course.
So why are you so passionate about this French chic and style?
Well, I think because it helps so many women, and women just email me or message me, and it's really this advice. This advice has changed their lives, and they're happier, they feel more confident, and many women like some confidence, especially at this stage in our life where we're older, we're getting maybe close to retirement, or we have already retired, children have left the nest, we're no longer at work, and we've lost a little bit our body shape. As you said, our body shape has changed, and we don't quite know what to wear. Maybe because many of us were working in an office, and we used to wear this corporate wardrobe, and suddenly we're at home and we no longer have no clothes that we can look at and think, that's exciting or stylish, maybe too casual, or we don't know anywhere. We don't quite know what to wear and how to wear it. And many women are lost, and they lost their confidence as well. So because of this, it's almost kind of a vicious circle. They don't go out to meet new people. And because the less they go out, the less confidence they have. And because they have less confidence, they don't feel they can go out and mix with people. And suddenly, they're getting into the style, they're getting to advice, they're changing their wardrobe, they feel better about themselves, and then they can go out, and this changes their lives.
I agree with that. I think we get to middle age and we're so used to looking after everybody else and making sure everybody else is okay. And we don't really have the time or the energy to put into making sure we look good like we did in our teens and 20s. It's just not on our radar screen anymore. So then we hit like 45, 50 and we go, oh, I'm still wearing, like for me, I just wear my gym kit or I wear my horse riding kit because it's really easy. I don't have to think about it. There you go. I'm dressed. That'll do. Whereas, and partly because I don't know how to shop for stuff. I don't know what to look for. And I don't really, I do know what suits me, but it would be nice to just have somebody go, okay, this is good for you. That's good for you. That's not. And that, I think, is part of the service you provide. And also how to dress it up and not look dowdy, because you use scarves. You don't really use jewelry, do you? But you use a lot of scarves and accessories like that.
That's right. I'm not, I'm into minimal jewelry. So, I would wear pearls, for instance, or just a silver chain, maybe pearl earrings. You can get away with just one set of pearl earrings, those studs that you can wear, for instance, with every single thing. Because let's not forget, when I moved back from Mexico, I only brought with me one suitcase of clothes, and in that suitcase of clothes, I included clothes from my husband. So I didn't bring many with me because everything was still in the house, not that hadn't moved with us. So for almost a year, I only had, minimal of clothes, and the jewelry I had and I was wearing on a day-to-day basis with my pearl studs, and you can wear those with everything. So even if you don't know what to wear, for instance, jewelry, if you wear just a simple pair of pearl studs, and don't forget they are stylish, you can dress up something casual and they're still good for the night. Yeah. So this is something, a really versatile item that we like in France as well. We like versatile items. So thinking of things like that in versatility terms, in classic and timeless, you can wear a long time. But of course, some things you may think, if you wear everything, some items you wear all together, the look may look a little bit stuffy or kind of old-fashioned. So now and again, you may bring in a trendy item to bring it in a little bit fresh.
Right. Okay.
Fashion, really, when I think of it, is really at the whim of the designer for that season and for that year. So, for instance, in this year, the style is for large jewelry. It's so very well for large jewelry for people who it suits, and everything in proportion. So large jewelry will flatter large ladies. The petite women will have to avoid them. So the smaller ladies, will have to avoid them. So women who don't know, who are confused, okay, if the trends, I need to buy that, and they will wear those oversized jewelry, that will not suit them. So you see, that's the thing with fashion. They give you everything. Yeah. But you need to know about style. So the style gives you that filter, give you that kind of the sieve, so that you retain only the things that suit you.
And it's a really hard thing to get to the bottom of, because I remember when we lived over in WA, there was a little boutique close to us. And they used to do fashion shows at the school every Mother's Day. We'd have this big Mother's Day party, and they'd grab somebody from each size of clothes, a size 6, 8, 10, 12. And the women that volunteered, we used to do a fashion show for the others. And that was really cool because they put stuff on me that I would never have looked twice at. And what was really interesting was the outfits that I hated were the ones that I got the most comments from other people that they really suited me. So that was a really interesting experience. But I ended up with that shop. I'd just go in there once every 3 or 4 months, and I'd say, right, I need a new wardrobe. And because I'd bought my previous wardrobes from them, they'd just bring stuff to me. I'd be in the change rooms and they'd just kind of throw stuff over, and they'd be going, right, this will go with those trousers that you bought last time. Okay, that white top that you got, try this on, because it'll go with it. But again, they brought me stuff that I would never have considered. But I haven't found a boutique that does that over here. And I was fortunate enough to be able to afford to do that. If you've got to go around Target or Myers or one of the other shops like that, you've got to know what you're looking for. And I get into the habit of going for stuff, T-shirts and shorts, because I know they're going to suit me. And I also stick to certain colors because I know that suits me too. So it's a very difficult topic. And I'm not surprised you got all the followers. You talk about it really well.
Oh, thank you. But that boutique you mentioned is 1 in a million.
Oh, yeah.
And that is fabulous if you can find a place like that.
Yeah.
Because you get the advice, and they almost kind of act as a personal shopper for you.
Totally.
And that is amazing.
Yeah, totally.
That is amazing.
And we left Perth back in 2012, and I've still got some stuff that I got from that boutique. It's good quality and timeless. Like you say, they were timeless pieces. There were some that weren't, but a lot of them don't look dated today. How do you go about finding shoes? What shoes do you wear? I don't think I've ever seen a video of yours on shoes. Do you do shoes?
Yes, I did a video on shoes on Monday.
That'll teach me to read my emails.
I also did a video on my summer shoes in the summer. Would you believe? So yes, yeah. So this week I did one on shoes. I bought 2 new pairs of shoes.
Ooh.
And again, my shoes are very much a classic style that really I can wear for years.
Yeah.
And I can wear with many things. So again, the emphasis on the French wardrobe is really about versatility,
Right.
timelessness, classic styles, mostly neutrals. So we can wear for a number of years, but each piece usually works with as many other items as we have.
I wish I had your expertise, because I really don't. I mean, I walk in the shoe shop and I go, oh, that's so nice. And I buy them and it doesn't go with anything that I actually possess. And they sit at the bottom of my wardrobe gathering dust.
Oh. Well, you have to give them some love now and again if you're not going to wear them.
Mind you, I'm not as bad as my husband. He went out the other week and he was looking for some boat shoe loafer kind of thing. He wants them to look a particular way. I've got no idea what he's got in his head. Anyway, he sends me this photograph and it says, do you like these shoes? And I said, yeah, they look great. So we bought 2 pairs in different colors. As you do.
Well, in a way, that is another good way, I think, to do things. For instance, you need, let's say if you have a wardrobe with a few colors and you know that style of shoe suits you, fits you, you love them, they're perfect. And let's say you buy a nude pair, because nude pairs can go with every other color. So a nude pair of that shoe will go with every item. And let's say you pick another color with one of your neutrals. So again, you will wear it with a lot of things. So buying 2 pairs sometimes is a good idea.
That's actually what he did. He bought a blue pair and a grey pair. And between the 2 of them, they'd go with pretty much everything he's got.
Yeah, very good.
So just something I've never asked you, but it came up for me before. If you're buying a pair of shoes in France, so I'm assuming you're going to get a very good quality pair. And actually, this is a whole other thing to talk about. The shops in France are different to what they are like in the UK and the US and Australia, aren't they? That you generally don't have the big chain stores like we do. They're still the small individually owned boutiques, aren't they?
No, you have big chain store where you have supermarkets, and you also have big what do you call those department stores, for instance, the Galeries Lafayette, Printemps in Paris. You have these.
So they sell clothes in the supermarket?
Yes, they do supermarket, even some brands as well.
Oh, okay.
Not the top brand obviously, but some good brands in supermarket. But we also have shops that are very low priced and not that good quality. We don't have just good quality for shoes. In a shop in the town close to me, there's a shop that sells really, really low quality shoes, and even as you walk past, you can tell they're bad quality. So we don't only sell good quality, so just to people to know where to shop and where they can afford as well. But what I like though in the shops here is that you can find many sales assistants who will genuinely advise you and give you ideas for outfits. I like that. That's something I noticed when I came back to France. Because when I was living in Jersey, for instance, you'd go in a shop, or when I was shopping in Britain, go shopping for a shop. Oh yes, it's nice. The sales assistant will tell you, oh yeah, if you are lucky enough to have a sales assistant to look after you. But in a shoe shop, they won't tell you how to wear those shoes. They can put the shoe on your foot and tell you, okay, it really fits you, but that's about it. But in France, they put the shoe on your foot and they look at the shoe on you as you walk, and they ask you questions, how does it feel and everything, and they tell you, you can wear it with this, you can wear it with that, you can wear it with this type of trousers, you can wear that kind of skirt for going out. They give you ideas on the outfits and where to wear it, and I like that.
God, yeah, I wish they did that over here. They definitely don't do that over here. That's invaluable, I think. But it's also, it's what we're talking about right now. We in Australia, the States and the UK, we don't have that knowledge. We don't have that style awareness to be able to do that on the whole. That was a vast generalization, but on the whole.
It's funny that because when I grew up in France, obviously I was born in France, grew up in France, and I arrived in Jersey when I was 20 and a half. And I was, it opened my eyes to style, because obviously if you only know one country, the one you're born, you don't know what's really happening in other countries. And I was surprised by many things, how people would wear their clothes, the colors they picked. The style was very different.
You were like, why are you wearing that? You were, weren't you?
I hope you're going to cut that off. Yes.
When we lived in Western Australia, you'd go down to the local shopping centre and you would see people walking around in pajamas and Ugg boots. It's like, what are you doing?
I am still now, because I've heard that many times, and even comments on my YouTube channel, and I've heard it before, and I'm still surprised now. How on earth can people go out of their home unless it's an emergency, the house is on fire? Why would they go out in pajamas, dressing gown, and slippers? I just don't comprehend that. I have not seen that in France anywhere, and I don't think it's something French would do. It's just like, no, it's so frowned upon. And that's the thing with the French. I don't know if we are the only nation on earth. I don't know. But the Italians are very stylish as well. Maybe it's like that there as well. But style is important to us. It's due to an image. It's something, you project, and it's something to do with your kind of character. If you're well dressed, okay, you have of a good character or something. I don't know if it's like that, but style is very important. And you must not dress just any which way. There is a kind of code, and the code is that neutral, classic, timeless. You have to look good. You must not look ridiculous. Night clothes are for the night. Sportswear is for sports. Day wear is for day. Evening wear is for evening. You know, that kind of thing. That it is very much something we adhere to. We adhere to.
We stick to it.
We stick to. And
yeah, it's interesting. Is it a self-respect thing, do you think?
Yes, and respect to others as well.
So it's not so much about a looking good thing. It's more to do with being respectful.
Yes, well, it's also looking good, but respect, I think, yes.
And this is where I'm coming from. It's like fashion is about looking good and style is about respect.
Well, style is about looking good, because I don't think that everything fashion gives us is about looking good.
Totally.
So probably what fashion gives us, 20% is about looking good. The rest is pretty ridiculous, to be honest. But whereas style is probably is about respect.
I'm going to have to cut that bit out, aren't I?
I don't know. Do what you like.
Oh, that's hilarious. I think that's actually good. It's great that I agree with you. I mean, I do love fashion, but some of it is just ridiculous.
And this is why it does not serve women very well if they don't know the difference between fashion and style. Because if many people who going to buy everything that is trendy, I mean, if you think that 80% of what they bring out is ridiculous or does not suit most of the population, then many people will make a mistake of wearing things that don't look good on them. Like one time, not that long ago, it was the fashion of oversized bags. Well, petite women cannot wear oversized bags because it's not in proportion to body, with the body size, the body proportion. And also summer, it was a fashion of those micro bags that are more like a purse. I mean, plus size women cannot wear this because it's out of proportion. Again, you have to keep the proportion. And you don't hear much about proportions anywhere on style, but proportion is very important.
No, you don't, do you? And it's funny you say that about the bag, because I bought myself a backpack a few years ago to put my laptop and everything else in, and it was a Speedo backpack, the swimming brand. And I was walking around one day, John picked me up and he said, "Do you realize you look like a 5-year-old going to school with his big backpack on his back?" Thank you. He said, "It's just too big for you. Like, it's just, you look like a turtle carrying its shell on its back."
Ninja turtle.
But I hadn't even thought about proportion.
And it's something that, if you're not taught about proportion, it's not something you're going to think about.
No.
And this is something I always advise women. It's one of my main tips, is to own a full-size mirror and to actually use that mirror to look at yourself from top to, from the top of your head to your shoes, all in one, and actually look. Because women are, "Oh yeah, good," and they walk off. They don't actually look.
Guilty.
Yes. They don't actually look. Okay, what am I looking at? Because, okay, I look, what am I looking at? Women don't know what to look at because they haven't been taught.
No.
And this is why, in a way, I am kind of frustrated by the fashion world, because they don't teach women about style, about how looking good. It's all about, the new trend is this, buy my stuff. But it's not about education, and it's not really, okay, the end result is we want women to look good, feel good, look and feel beautiful, at the end of the day. But the fashion, it's not about that. So it's up to the person to educate themselves, to know about style and what suits them, so that they can look and feel beautiful.
That is so cool. I like that. I do. That is really good. Actually, I should say something about the fact that you won't switch your video on because you haven't done your hair yet this morning.
No, don't, please.
We can wrap it up there if that's all right. Thanks for coming on the podcast, MarieAnne. I really appreciate it.
But thank you very much again for inviting me on your podcast. It was really enjoyable, and we have touched on so many topics, and I hope all these tips and techniques will help your listeners.
If you're willing, I would like to make this a fairly, I would like to make this a regular thing where you come on and talk about something. But obviously this podcast was like a general thing about what you do. And we just got into a bit of detail in some of it. But it'd be great if we could make this a regular feature, a style feature. Would you be up for that?
Oh, that would be lovely. I would enjoy it. Yes. I love that.
Because I don't think, we haven't done as much laughing as we normally do in this podcast. We came across quite serious. Normally, we just spend the entire time laughing.
We do.
So thank you very much, MarieAnne.
You're welcome.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Menopause, Marriage and Motherhood podcast. I'm Karen O'Connor. Join me next time for more conversation, laughter and fun as we navigate our way through all the things that midlife throws at us. Please click on the subscribe button so you get notifications of new episodes. And don't forget that all the links and information that we've spoken about in this podcast is available on the podcast page of my website. If you have any ideas for topics you'd like us to chat about, or if you have an inspiring story that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. And constructive feedback is always welcome. Thanks so much for listening. I'm looking forward to talking to you again next time. Bye for now.